This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel Abraham, joined by Damon McDonald. How are you today, Damon?
We are well. It is a beautiful, I don't know if it's beautiful, sun's not even fucking up yet, but it looks nice anyway, getting there. We're fine. I'm just discussing life in general with Joel, and it's great. It's really wonderful. Right, Joel? Right?
It's great. It is great. And something we've discussed on the show many times is that in these uncertain times, you've got to take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, treat yourself. Yeah. And the absolute model of this, which I posted on Twitter, is one Taka Michinoku, who booked himself to win his own tournament in his company, JTO.
Damn fucking amazing. Straight. Yeah. Good for him. I would. Would you? I would. Let me ask you this. If you had... It'd be amazing if Joel Abraham, his first pro wrestling experience, he wins like the major tournament. He's like the biggest major independent guy out on the scene today. Who would that be, by the way? Who would be the biggest independent guy out on the scene right now? That's
who hasn't been accused of a sex crime. Correct.
Right. That we can actually book on a show. Yeah, right. Independent, not because they want to be. Let's put it that way. Who would that be? I'm trying to. That's a really good question right now. Like, who would be who's the young man or young lady that everyone is pining over? I don't know.
Write in and let us know, listeners.
Yeah, because I'm really kind of struggling right now. Who would be, again, not anybody who has been canceled, but who would be the guy or the girl who everybody is? Who would be the biggest free agent out there? I'm curious to know. All right. That's a good way to start off a pro wrestling podcast. I don't know.
Well, let me start on a nice note. I want to say thank you to Jackie Daytona, that's at the corner of you on Twitter, who submitted a really nice review for us on iTunes. 5 stars, obviously. Like, there's no point doing it unless you're going to give us 5 stars. So rather than burying it at the end, I'll put this at the start of the show. So take your time, get on the old iTunes, give us a nice 5 snake review, and it'll be much appreciated. So thank you, Jackie Daytona, at the corner of you.
That is very nice. Yeah, we definitely we could use all those we can get. Sometimes it's nice to hear a positive word, and if a show is something that you enjoy. Not that we honestly do it for any other reason but our own, but it's nice to know other people are appreciating the work. So good, excellent. Thank you for the 5s.
So in this week's news, there was a bit of a scare earlier in the week with the show in Ehime, which was cancelled. The show's hometown, actually, because one of the wrestlers was running a fever. But fortunately, the nucleic acid test, I think there was a nucleic acid test, came back negative. So that wrestler in question is okay, from what I understand. Okay. But definitely did the right thing to play on the safe side and cancel the show. Do you agree, David?
Yeah, you do. You have to. I would rather that be the case than having a guy that you know was a little bit of a challenge, right? Getting him 100% healthy and then having him out there rolling around on a fucking mat. So yeah, and here's the thing too. New Japan apparently doesn't have any problem curtailing the outside brawling. We're brawling in the crowd, brawling all over the fucking joint. So yeah, I got no problem with that. If I got news for you, we should have more of that. In the sense of, especially here in the States, if people are sick, fucking keep them home. I will say this: sports has done a decent job. I think an even better than decent job of trying to make sure everyone is safe. The NHL, again, they 0 positive cases in their bubble scenario. And the NBA as well. The WNBA as well. I can't forget about them and the efforts that they are doing while their season is going on. I believe MLS, after an initial issue, had 0. Baseball, wow, that's another fucking story. But even college football, I mean, you would be amazed, Joel, at how massive college football is here in the good old United States. I mean, they're shutting down. That's billions of dollars we're talking about. The different organizations agreeing to shut down. So, no, I don't got a problem with it. It's the world we live in right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Can you close the door, please? Turn on the air conditioning then.
You're on mute, by the way.
I know, because I'm shouting at my wife.
There it is. There's the first one.
Just refusing to close the bedroom door because it's hot. So I turn on the air conditioning, and then she says, no, it's too cold. So, fuck me, I guess. One thing that I thought was nice about this show cancellation was a tweet from Taichi, and this is translated by @KarenNerdsOut on Twitter, and the quote from Taichi says, even with the cancellation announcement, nobody bitched or complained, you applauded. Sometimes good things do happen. Rumour has it this is somebody's hometown. If it's always like this, I wouldn't mind coming for a return visit. So it's really nice words there from Taichi. He's not such a bad guy after all.
Look, nobody likes a cancellation, right? I've had tickets for not many an event, but a few events that, you get to the venue and you're reading a sign. Tonight's performance has been canceled due to fucking, sillier shit than COVID-19. That's for sure. Yeah,
What's the silliest shit that you can remember that an event has been cancelled for?
I got a few. Okay, here's one. One went to a concert. Do you remember the band, Joel? EMF.
No, I don't.
I'm sure you will know the song "Unbelievable."
You're unbelievable. That one.
Yeah, that's correct. That is correct. Well, there was a summer of '90, I think it was. It might have been, probably summer of '90, where I was in love with EMF. I fucking thought they were the next greatest thing in the world. That lasted about 2 months. But still, I thought, oh my God, EMF, the greatest. Front row, Tower Theater, canceled. Drive up to the venue. The venue's, signs. Tonight's performance canceled. And of course, there's always rumors of, somebody got fucking high or somebody fucking, too drunk to perform or whatever. That was one. There were other bands that were on bills that didn't show. Like I went to Lollapalooza one year, and I think the Jesus and Mary Chain didn't play that day. I'm trying to think of this. But there's been a few where it's been like you show up to the venue and it's like, fuck me. That was the worst one because I had front row and I was really excited. Taking a hot girl. Fuck me. Didn't get laid that night.
I was just going to say, David, these anecdotes have petered out in a disappointing way, but you saved it at the end there, so well done.
I did not get laid. I vividly remember that night. I was like, what do you want to do now? Because we weren't old enough to drink, I don't even think. No, we weren't. So we had to try and find alcohol. And then we struck out there many times. All of our leads came up dry, so to speak. And then it was like, what do you want to do? I think I'm just going to go home. And it's like, fuck. All right. I knew the minute I saw that fucking sign, my chances were slim and none at that point. None, just fucking walked out the door. Another tall tale. Not tall tale. True tale. Another sad tale. All right, how about you? Do you have any stories of striking out, Joel?
I've got plenty of those.
We can do a podcast.
I remember once this was when I was at university, so I was in Brighton. I don't know if you've ever been to Brighton. Lovely place, but I walked like literally across the city, like from one side of the city to the other, to go to this lady's house. And this was about 2 a.m. And when I got there, she fell asleep.
I've had that.
So I went home again.
Yep. I've had this so many times. I had this one girl that we would kind of get together every once in a while, but she would have to climb out of her upstairs bedroom, like every U.S. teen movie in the 80s. She would have to climb out of her fucking bedroom window, sneak out, get in the car, and go away we go, right? It sounds like this girl is 12. She's not. Okay, please. I need to be very clear. We were all.
If she had me, you'd be straight into Brit Rest.
I know. Really, it didn't.
You'd be Progress champion or something.
Seriously, no. We were both the same age. We were probably both 19. Because I still wasn't old enough to drink, but old enough to drive. And I was working at, yes, probably 19. Yeah, she was going to school. Yeah. Anywho, I can't tell you how many times it'd be like, okay, you're coming over. Yep. Okay. All right. Pull around back and I'll just, just wait and I'll come out. Okay, great. Waiting hour. I'll be like, what the fuck? And this is before, you couldn't text somebody. You're just like, what the fuck? Dude, I got a story. So, I worked at this place where a burglar alarm, you would buy a burglar alarm, right, for your house or a business, right? And the alarm would go off and the signal would be sent to this monitoring center who would then contact the police and, whoever else you needed us to contact, right? So I worked there for a couple of years. And so there was this girl who would always call every single night from like a Rite Aid to close up. I guess something about their corporate thing. They had to call. A Rite Aid is like a pharmacy or I don't know what you would call it. Apothecary. I don't know. It's a place like that. So after a while, you kind of get to talking. It's the same girl every time. So we're talking, blah blah blah. I don't know. One thing leads to another. We exchange numbers. We talk for like a week. After this week, it's like we're getting fucking married. I swear to God. We haven't met. We're just talking. And she's like, oh, my God, you're so nice. And blah, blah. I was like, you don't even know who I am. Let's be honest. Anyway, we decide to meet up, right? So it turns into this big fucking thing where I'm meeting this girl and she's meeting me and blah, blah, blah. And, we can't wait to see each other, blah, blah, blah. I feel like this is like back in the day, catfishing, but it's not. It's worse. So I drive up. It's like an hour drive. Drive up, meet her at work. I go into the place, the Rite Aid, go in, and I was whoever was at the front. I was like, hey, I'm here to see. I don't even remember her name, whatever the fuck her name was. They go, okay, yeah, stay here. Goes in the back, and it took a little longer than normal. And then the person comes back and he's like, oh, yeah, Karen's not feeling too well. And I was like, I see what's happening here. Okay.
Was she actually called Karen?
No, but just that was the first name that popped in my head. And I was like, okay, great. That's I see what's happening here. So I just walked out with the defeated. I'm fucked. I guess I'm not that good looking. Got in the car and drove to the strip club. Spent lots of money, depressingly. Thank you.
Great story.
Thank you very much. The tale of the story is that nothing ever works out. Thank you, everyone.
So why bother trying?
Why bother trying? All right. So there's Tai Chi. We tied in Tai Chi with another. Dating woe story. Very good.
Breaking news here. There is going to be live English commentary for the Jingu Stadium Summer Struggle Show, which is nice.
Wow. I guess we can assume that travel ban has been lifted. Is that what we're looking at?
I think they've got some sort of technological thing because Chris Charlton tweeted, we have the technology, whilst quote tweeting that announcement, so I assume it's going to be long distance. Right,
sitting in that should go over well. I'm sure they don't have the technology. I'm sure it'll be like a 7-second delay between Kevin Kelly describing what is happening and what has happened, as we've seen with countless other sports.
Yeah, well, for these boring evil main events, it doesn't matter, does it? It can just be like, well, a long control period from evil, asserting its dominance, and just like run that on a loop for 40 minutes. Am I right, Dave?
That's what the kids are saying, right? This sucks, man. Well, that's good. I mean, I know people look forward to hearing the voice, the English commentary. So, and I do too. So because it's kind of hard to double back and watch a show that was okay just for English commentary. I mean, that's got to put that team in a little bit of a bind, I would think. So, yeah, good. I mean, it's a positive. I know the struggles that, and I put this in air quotes, the legitimate sports have in broadcasting in real time with having announcers be remote. So, I mean, hopefully it'll go off without a hitch, but it hasn't gone off without a hitch in a lot of cases. So, fingers crossed.
Let's talk about our favourite Saturday morning TV show. That is New Japan Strong.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Soul Train. I'm sorry.
Sitting eating, watching it whilst eating my Weetabix. Damon, of course, not eating cereal. You got your.
Uh oh. Wait a minute. We got childish.
No. Just ignore it.
No,
I'm
really?
selling it. I'm kicking out at one, popping straight to my feet after the suplex. It never happened. Right. Okay, so first match was Jordan Clearwater and Clark Connors being defeated by the team of Barrett Brown and Logan Regal. Barrett Brown pinning Jordan Clearwater after 7 minutes 3 seconds with a schoolboy. I mean, Clark Connors is the standout performer here. I think he's tremendously talented. It's really exciting watching him every time, even though he is still just a young lion. Anyone stand out to you in this tag match, Damon?
He's always been like one of those guys that I feel. I'm not going to say goes under the radar, but he goes a little bit under the radar when it comes to all the greatness that the dojos have produced, like especially with this crop. Like I feel like everybody, Carl Fredericks, and Clark Connors kind of gets. I don't know. I don't want to say ignored, but I think he's in the top. I would put him in top 5. Would you put him in top 5?
Yeah, he might be a better worker than Carl Fredericks. I mean, I don't even know if that is a hot take. Obviously, Spicy Carl jumps off the page because how
he's got everything.
He is.
Yeah.
But in terms, if we're talking technique, I think Clark Connors might be the guy if we're looking at those 3 LA Dojo young lions.
Yeah. And of course, he's going to have his moments to shine. He's got a little bit more time there than the rest of the crew. I'll tell you what. Who was the? And I should remember the name, but unfortunately, I don't. There was one, and it might have been in. I'll wait. So if you mention the name, I'll bite. But hopefully, I answered your question there. But there's one guy that stands out for me for all the strong shows so far. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I thought Jordan Clearwater looked pretty good in this match as well. Quite young, raw compared to a lot of the other people that are on this show, but yeah, definitely got a lot of potential there. Second match, this was really fun. A 6-man tag match with Blake Christian, Mysterioso, and PJ Black, formerly known, of course, Justin Gabriel, defeating the team of Alex Zane, TJP, and ACH in 7 minutes 55 seconds with PJ Black pinning Alex Zane with a placebo effect. How great was it seeing ACH again? He looks like he hasn't missed a step.
Yeah, I mean, he's. I wish that right after that match, they had a piece of paper with his name on it, and a deal. I don't understand. I mean, maybe it's him. In the sense of he just doesn't want the commitment. I know he's has some, and rightfully so. He's got a bad taste in his mouth from probably the entire past year when it comes to pro wrestling. But then again, maybe not.
Shocking, isn't it, Damon? I mean, I can't believe that anyone could sign for that company and have a bad time. It's just
I know,
mind-boggling, isn't it?
It is. It is shocking to reveal that company might have issues of treating its employees fairly and well. But there's a lot of things that change when you have some type of freedom to do what you want. Not even do what you want, but even, at the very least, be treated with some respect. That's a nice low bar, right? You would think you would be able to hit in pro wrestling, but as we can see, sometimes it doesn't happen. Now add to that the fact that you have creative freedom. Now add to the fact that you have creative license. He's one of those guys that every time he's in a New Japan ring, he doesn't disappoint. And who was it? Was it Andrew Rich who recently tweeted out some stuff like it was just him acting goofy, dancing in the ring, and then Naito comes in, and that whole thing. He's just such a when he is in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring, he is an absolute pleasure to watch. Like I don't think I've ever been disappointed in ACH in a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. Never. I don't care if he's in. I'll go so far as to say if he's in one of those, as we love to call, meaningless 6-man tags, he almost always is a highlight. He almost always is. Well, ACH did well, right? Every time. I can't think of one time where I sat there and I said, this match sucked. Oh, yeah, and ACH didn't do much. You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't happen. Sign him immediately, if not sooner. Like, could you imagine him in your junior ranks? Could you imagine him if by chance, we're still continuing on with an open weight, with the never situation? Could you imagine some of those matches? Put aside the junior stuff. Give me that tweener weight, right? I think our heads would collectively explode. It would be wonderful.
I want a junior tag team with Master Watto. That would be tremendous fun.
That would be fun too, right? Master Watto. How are we feeling about? Well, I'll get there. I'm sure we got Strong to talk about a little bit. Again, he looked great. He looked like he hadn't lost a step. And once again, a highlight. I don't know. Listen, I don't know him. But to me, and he could be the complete opposite in a locker room. He could be difficult to work with. He could be a raging asshole. I doubt it, but okay, let's just say he could be. When that fucking music hits and he goes through that curtain, to the time he goes through that curtain and he goes in the back, he's a fucking pleasure. I just don't understand why we would not want him locked down 2 years with the lion mark on his fucking shirt. That's what I want. And then I want Shingo ACH. That's what I want. That's what I want.
The third match on the show was the New Japan Cup USA semi-final with David Finlay defeating the weirdly clean-shaven Tamatonga. I didn't like it. Sometimes like when fathers shave off their beard and the kid cries because he looks so different. That was me. I was just wailing uncontrollably when his nice, smooth, shiny face came out. 7 minutes, 10 seconds with the Prima Nocta. David Finlay advanced into the finals, as we predicted. A pretty good match. I like this one. I thought it was a nice sort of next chapter to the story. This ongoing feud between Finjuice and Gorillas of Destiny after GOD took the tag titles away from Finjuice earlier on in the year. I thought this was okay.
Do you like the fact that these matches are short?
Yep.
Me too. Me too.
I've got a terrible attention span.
I like the fact that, right, they don't have to be 20-minute epics, 30-minute epics. Once again, this is no match went crazy long. No match went Teddy long, as a matter of fact. I found that refreshing. I found that to be... I find all these shows, again, the Strongs, to be just like quick bites to eat. This is not something where you have to dedicate so much fucking time and just commit yourself to the journey of a 4-hour show or whatever. You're in and out in less than an hour. That's nice. And these matches, again, are easily digestible 10-minute bites. Which, again, doesn't lend itself to a lot of analysis. I'll say that if there is a strike against it, but they're all sprints. They all feel like they're sprints, and they all feel like they don't. You're not sitting in there in a fucking chin lock for 15 minutes. You're not Sonata trying to lock on a goddamn submission hold. That's for sure. Oh, we're seeing that. Sorry. That I like, yeah, and I will say that the cleanly shaven Tama Tonga was a little bit of a shock as well.
The fourth match was the other semi-final where Kenta defeated Jeff Cobb in, well, this was a longer match. It was 40 minutes 38 seconds with an inside cradle. Kenta advances to the finals. It was a bit of a weird stylistic matchup because, as I've said on many occasions, Jeff Cobb is at his best with a high energy opponent who is either going to do that sort of toe to toe style with him. Someone like Ishii, they had a really good match at the G1, or someone smaller than him, like Hangman Page, Will Ospreay, can fly around the ring for him. Kenta is not that kind of wrestler, obviously, and as a result of that, it was largely Kenta domination, and then a lot of shenanigans at the end to protect Jeff Cobb. Ref bumps and low blows and all that. Do you think that was necessary?
No,
because I don't. Because I think Kenta should have won this one clean.
Yeah, I do too. That was a disappointment. I know Bullet Club. I know. I think everybody would have been
the heels, you idiot.
I know. Unfortunately, they beat us over the head with that. I think that might be the biggest issue. Is that it feels like we get it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point I think we're at when it comes to the interference stuff. It's like this does Kenta, who, again, if we're putting them in a pecking order, I mean, to me, he feels like he's top of the food chain. Does he? We need to have interference to beat Jeff Cobb. No, no disrespect to Jeff Cobb, but you see what I'm saying?
Disrespect to Jeff. Maximum disrespect to Jeff Cobb. He's not on Kenta's level. Kenta, in my opinion, in the roster, Kenta's a clear cut above him.
Right. We can't have a clean finish there? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Joel. Carl Frederick's got a clean pinfall over fucking Jeff Cobb. Am I correct?
No, Jeff Cobb beat Carl, didn't he?
Yeah, but wasn't the first match? That was the return match, right?
I don't think Jeff Cobb took the fall there. I'd have to check. It might have been Rocky. Let me look.
Oh, you may be. No, I thought it was Jeff Cobb. Look that up. It wasn't Jeff Cobb? Come
Looking
on.
it up, Damon.
All right. Come on, Craig.
So that would have been the first episode.
Episode?
Lines Break Collision, right?
That was the big push, right?
So Carl Fredericks and TJP defeated Jeff Cobb and Rocky Romero. Carl
Rocky
Fredericks
Romero.
pinning Rocky Romero with a backslide.
That's right. There goes my whole narrative. Cancel the show. Put it away.
See you next week, everyone.
See you next week, everyone. Fuck this. Balls. All right. Why did I think Carl Frederick's got a fucking pinfall over Jeff Cobb? Anywho, Kenta should have just cleanly beat Jeff Cobb. I'm sorry. Enough with the interference. We get it. He's a heel.
I'll tell you what I will do, Damon. Let's look up the G1 Climax 2019 last year, and we will see all the people who defeated Jeff Cobb.
So, here we go. It's a long list.
Here, G1 Climax 29.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Why can't I just have a list of results here?
I know, you got to have some. I know. Isn't the internet stupid sometimes? That's all I want.
All right, so Cobb lost to Goto, Ishii, Moxley, and Naito and Jay White. Okay, so to be fair, those are 5 pretty big names. But, I mean, if Goto...
Kenta's in that list, right?
Yeah, I would say Kenta should be on par with that.
Yeah, I don't get why we can't have Jeff Cobb lose in that one. Cleanly. I mean, listen, we're bitching and moaning about outside interference in the New Japan USA Cup.
But, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't outside interference. It was just cheating on Kenta's part.
Right. But still, you get my point. All right. Where are we going now?
We have some interesting matches for this Friday's New Japan Cup 2020 Strong. So first match, we got Adrian Quest and Rocky Romero against the DKC and Danny Limelight. Second match, now here's the interesting one. Brody King and Flip Gordon versus Chase Owens and Jay White. The Switchblade is back, Damon.
So a lot of people excited for that in our Discord. Over and above the normal weekly Jay White is great, you don't know what you're fucking talking about conversation.
Which happens like every 48 hours?
I believe so. I believe that's the way it goes. Set your fucking watch to it. I think it's obviously good to see Jay White back in a ring. It's been the first time in quite a while. I think one of the bigger, question marks, bigger surprises is Flip Gordon making an appearance. Flip. I don't know. People aren't that big on Flip Gordon. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joel.
I wasn't when he first appeared in Best of the Super Juniors. That would have been, 2018? But he's still young, so I'm hoping he's improved. I mean, I'm interested to see him back. I'm more interested, actually, in the fact what took Jay White so long to get on these shows, and the fact that it looks, at least, unless it's a swerve, but it looks like he's not Japan-bound.
I mean, he can't get in, right? Obviously. Who knows when that's going to happen, Joel? And I don't know. You're not going to put him in this New Japan Cup thing. So why distract? I guess they only have a certain amount of time that they have blocked off for these tournament matches. I don't know where you would have put him, if not now. And I think him coming back gives him a spotlight that he would be hogging if he were brought back any sooner. Chase Owens, return of Chase, right? And I'm more curious with Flip than anything else. I'm surprised that they asked them to come and asked them to participate. I don't know. It just seems like I don't know. I kind of thought that was over. I thought
take whoever they can get at this point.
Yeah, they got a pretty solid crew over there, though. Do they need Flip Gordon?
Is he any worse than a PJ Black?
I would take PJ Black.
Yes, so would I. Actually.
I mean, I would, right?
I'm just asking questions, David.
Go ahead. I appreciate that. I don't know. That one just puzzles me. Actually, that one, I don't know. And it's not like I feel like they left on bad terms. I don't think that's not what I'm insinuating. I want to be very clear with that. I don't think there's, any heat between the two. I just thought it was a weird bringback. Of all people. How much do you think these guys are getting paid for these one shots? That's the question I'd like to know. Flip's obviously not on. He's on a per show basis. Even ACH. It's not like they're from what I understand, there's no contract or anything like that signed. He's not locked down or anything. Like, what do they pay these guys to bring them in to wrestle in front of no people?
Flip, if you're listening, write in. Let us know.
Yeah,
please.
let us know how much you're getting paid. I'll let you know how much I get paid. We'll share information. We'll share tax returns.
The third match on the show is going to be the New Japan Cup USA Finals between, as we predicted, David Finlay versus Kenta. Should be a definite win for Kenta, you would imagine. But I'm expecting this to be a good match.
Oh, it'll be great. I think it'll be. Maybe I should pump the brakes. I don't know if it'll be great, but it should be very good. Something's like telling me that Kenta's not winning. Could you give me a percentage that you think David Finlay could pull this off and win this fucking thing?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please, David?
Absolutely. I say, give me a percentage of you thinking David Finlay could pull off the win here.
About 10%.
Okay. Because that's what my brain says, but that kind of, it's like the odds are so like, of course Kent is going to win. That I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop and it'd be like, nope, because it was so obvious we're going the other way. New Japan usually doesn't do that, by the way. But
Kent is the biggest star they've got there at the moment, so it would seem foolish to not put that briefcase on him.
And then he challenges for a challenge for the U.S. title in a match that will never happen.
Defend it a few times. I mean, bigger picture, I think the issue they might have is the fact that they have high-profile, credible heels, but no one really on the babyface sides of the caliber of a Kenta or a Jay White.
Right. That's for sure. Yeah. That's why I'm saying, wouldn't it make more sense to turn David Finlay into a star? And I mean, that's a perfect example if we're doing the briefcase scenario of him eventually losing that briefcase on a defense, right? What do they got over there? Juice? Finlay? Who else? Jeff Cobb? Maybe that's why Jeff Cobb needs heel shenanigans to lose. Who else? Who else is there that they could turn to? Main roster guys. Babyface. Not much. I'm not missing anybody, am I?
No, and we don't know how long Juice is going to be on the shelf for. So,
right.
Okay, credit to you, Damon. You've put enough reasonable doubt in my mind to make me think Finney's got a chance there. I think, but him defending that,
right? It's a circumstance hope, right? It's just the fact that they don't have anybody that could possibly carry that torch. And here's the thing: a heel chasing the babyface might be a little bit more interesting than the babyface chasing the heel. In this scenario. Like, Kenta doesn't obviously need to win this fucking briefcase to be considered, along with Jay, the two biggest stars in the U.S. right now for them. Give it to fucking Finlay. Give him, it'll help boost him even more. It'll be the biggest singles win of his career. I don't think there's any argument there. And then you've made somebody at this point. because you do need that, and you don't have to go through with it. And here's the thing: you could. There's nothing wrong with having him challenge whoever is holding that U.S. title, whenever that match occurs, if and when. No harm in that. But you could have him hold on to it until he's ready. Kenta's ready, and the match is a little bit more definitive in the future against Mox, if Mox is holding that title still. And then if you wanted to do Kenta Mox, you could. It's still on the table. But yeah, just while we're in these uncertain times, make a star out of the guy.
All right, well, certainly pause for thought there for anyone who thinks it's going to be a runaway win for Kenta. So, yeah, pretty interesting show to look forward to for NJPW Strong. Bork says, who of the new guys on New Japan Strong should be signed up, and who would you like to see appear on future Strong shows? Plebber says, if you had to pick one wrestler from that Strong 6-man tag match to be in Best of the Super Juniors, who would you pick? So I guess that's going to be a pretty resounding ACH from both of us. Aside from ACH, anyone else?
Yeah, and forgive me because I'm not too familiar with the names. ACH is one, obviously. Who do I have on the other side? I mean, it's and I apologize because I'm not answering the question, but I will. But what about Brody King?
I thought he was really good. I enjoyed that match he had against Tamatonga in the first round of the Cup. They did a good job there. I like the aesthetic of Brody King. I think he'd be a useful acquisition. I mean, I wouldn't say he's going to be a main eventer or anything, but definitely a guy that would be worth having around.
I mean, remember when everybody was talking about his G1 or getting him in G1 after the World Tag League. Everybody just wanted him. He was like that was when we opened the show. Who's the indie guy that is leading the pack here? It felt like he might be that guy at that time. All right, let's do this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring up who did I like the most out of that Clark Connors, Jordan Clearwater, Logan Reed, and Barrett Brown match? Jordan Clearwater I liked. I would say Jordan Clearwater. I think of... yeah.
Yeah, me too. We're on the same page there. I thought it showed a lot of upside, young Jordan. Okay, then, shall we move on to discuss the stipulations for KOPW 2020, which is a very hot topic. It's been very controversial. So, the voting has been launched on twitter.com. Oh. So, they're running polls on NJPW 1972 and NJPW Global. So, the first one will be Okada against Yujiro. So Okada proposed a 1 versus 3 handicap match, and Yujiro proposed a lumberjack with leather belt death match. So on Global, currently Yujiro is winning with 57.2%, and on the Japanese, on the 1972 Twitter, I am still scrolling. Oh, I haven't voted yet, that's why. Okay, so I'm going to put my vote. I'm voting for Yujiro because I want to see Okada get battered with straps. Okay. No, weirdly, it's flipped. So on the English one, Yujiro's winning with 57.2%, and on the Japanese one, Okada is winning with 58.4%.
Is there an option to vote? I don't give a shit.
Okay, yeah. So your thoughts? You're not a fan of either of these.
I don't like. Let me be very clear in this. Very clear in this. I think all of this is complete and utter horseshit. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't. There's nothing I enjoy about any of this. This is.
All right. Okay.
Seems
hold that thought. Hold that thought.
All right.
Because we have a lot of questions.
All right.
Coming in from people on this. Okay, let's go with the angry people first. Takedown Tony says, I can't wait to see Yujiro versus Yano in a Taguchi's auntie on a pole match at Wrestle Kingdom next year. Not got much time for this shite. Not even the novelty factor. Mastodon said, why did no one suggest a no-rope electrified barbed wire swimming pool dynamite double hell deathmatch stipulation?
Thank you.
There's already a failure of concept, damn it. Louis says, why couldn't one of the stipulations be loser has to go on the Super J Cast podcast? Winner! The winner will go on the Super J Cast podcast. Loser can go on
podcast.
Yeah, those fuckers. Yeah, okay, so big picture stuff. Okay, before we go into match by match, give us your big picture thoughts on this.
Loser can go on the main fucking podcast. Fucking sit there for an hour with Michael Craven discussing pro wrestling. Look, I just thought it could be much more well done. Number one,
all right. What sort of stipulations have not popped up that you think would have been appropriate for? Let's face it, it's a nothing Korakuen Road 2 show that's going to be half full.
Again, nobody's expecting the barbed wire blow up the fucking, bullshit. Nobody's expecting barbed wire board matches. Nobody's expecting thumbtack matches. Nobody's expecting, Big Japan, a fucking truck from Big Japan rolling into gimmicks. Light tubes. None of that. Nobody's expecting that. Nobody's expecting that. Whipping with a leather strap. I don't, some of these matches are what? Fucking one pin count. Some of them. Sonata, of all people, is going to have falls can only count by submission. Did I read that right?
Let's go through them then. So
all right,
the second one is Toru Yano versus Bushi. So Yano proposed a 2-count pinfall match. Bushi proposed a 5-count ring out. No,
5 count.
So Yano said 2-count pinfall. Bushi says 5-count ring out.
Outside the ring. Okay.
English account, Yano is winning with 59.3%. And the Japanese account, Yano is also winning with 56.6%.
Who would care? Who would give a shit? Honestly, you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, okay, what would I rather see? Yano should get 2 count instead of the 3 count. That's a second. That's a second off. He could just get one of those sneaky roll-ups. And was it Bushi? He could have. Imagine you only have 5 seconds to get back in the ring. That should be great. Who's thinking this? Who cares?
It sounded for about 10 seconds there that you were on the official NJPW podcast.
Right. I mean, this is. Oh my God! And again, with 2 guys that. I mean, again, we all love Yano. We all love he's wacky. Yes, he's unpredictable. We love him in G1 because it could happen at any moment. It keeps everybody honest and on their toes. And they'll figure it out. Here's what I'm saying. These guys are getting handed a bucket of shit and asked to produce a 5-course meal.
You say handed. Okay, let's talk about the Sho and Sanada situation. So Sho proposed a submission match, and then Sanada proposed a no pinfalls match, give up only. So
Okada it's the same thing.
That's the same thing, right? So something's obviously gone wrong there, and a couple of questions on this. So Andrew says, do the wrestlers have real life influence over these stips? Because Sho and Sanada picking the same stip seems like a weird cop-out before the tournament even starts. I can't imagine deliberately booking that. And Jason said, did the wrestlers not give a shit about the stips? Because that felt lazy. 2 of the matches were the same stipulation. Jeff says, is Sanada picking the same stip as Sho the ultimate himbo move? I mean, yeah, clearly proved right here about the himbo situation. But who do you think is picking these steps? Because the fact that Sho and Sanada did what they did does make me wonder. Do you think this is the booking committee saying, right, this is the step you need to promote, this is the step you need to promote?
Yeah, Yeah, that would be logic. I mean, imagine pro wrestling. But I will say this. This is what happens when you give these pro wrestlers the idea of, okay, you get to pick your own. And then it just goes all fucking bonkers. So yeah, there is like what we have right now would be if pro wrestlers were actually able to do that. But no, to give them that type of freedom, no, I can't imagine that. It's got to be the booking committee saying, "Hey, here's what we're going with." You know, at the end result, we got to get to this point on this match. These are the steps, but they're just, I mean, some of the most. I don't know. There's so many gimmick matches that you could have in pro wrestling that really wouldn't be that difficult to pull off, as opposed to like who wants? A 5 count. Like, who cares? I mean, obviously, this is going to be Yano takes the tape. Yano tapes him to the fucking guardrail. And everybody gets excited because here comes the referee's count. I don't know. It just seems like fucking harebrained shenanigan bullshit that I have no fucking time for.
Just for the sake of completion, the fourth match is Satoshi Kojima, who proposed finishers only, so only finishers can lead to a pinfall, and then Desperado proposed no finishers, so the lariat and the pinche loco are banned and will lead to a DQ. So English account Despi's winning 64.7%, and the Japanese account also winning 68.7%. Yeah, these stipulations are rubbish. I'm not going to defend them, but let's look at it this way, right? These, like I said, majority of these are going to be undercard matches for a half-full Korakuen Road to show. So, and involving wrestlers who otherwise probably wouldn't have been doing much. So, would it have been better to not have this at all and just have random multi-mans?
Yes!
And not have this. You just do away with the KOPW 4-way thing completely.
Yes.
So you think there's absolutely no value in this KOPW thing?
Zilch.
Do you think it's actively harming the credibility of New Japan?
Yes, I do. Joel, singles matches, put them out there, have a winner. Over what we have here. Like, tell me how these stipulations are making this scenario any better. Honestly.
I think the stipulations are there to prevent it from being a straight singles match.
Why not have a straight singles match?
Because
between guys who are on the undercard and who gives a fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. It's rubbish and it's weird. I don't like it.
Neither do I. Who are we protecting in this scenario? Bushi? Who are we protecting? Like, why do we need to do this? Just have... that would be a refreshing change from, quite honestly, from 20. Just have a singles match with a clear and definitive winner. Why don't we just do that instead of stipulations which are proactively making matches worse? Go through that list, Joel. Tell me which match is now made better with those steps.
No, there's none of those matches that I wouldn't have preferred to see as a straight singles match.
Okay. Now, go through those matches once again. Tell me in any of those scenarios who would need to be protected to take a clean pinfall.
Well, maybe it's the fact that a few of these are heavyweight versus junior. So you need to have the stip there to create uncertainty. But I mean, you had these juniors in the fucking New Japan Cup.
We're past that point, aren't we?
Yeah.
We fucking crossed that bridge. Where are we going back? To old fucking, old rules and regulations? Fuck that. We're past that point. There's no one needs to be that group. Nobody's got to be protected there. Fucking 2 count. The fuck up the street. What else is there? What is it? they're not even making the matches worse. They're making me angry. That's what they're doing. Those steps are making me fucking angry.
Yeah, I can't defend them. I shouldn't defend them.
Sonata,
it's weird and bad and feels lazy. And if it's an attempt to zhuzh up interest in what is admittedly going to be the second match on the show at Jingu Stadium, it just feels that there's like a trade-off between generating excitement for that match or this period of time or whatever by introducing this concept and then having all this nonsense and shenanigans that a lot of people seem to actively dislike, and it's turning people off.
Do you think there's more people in my camp or in the positivity camp?
I think I should do a Twitter poll, but I would be inclined to say I think most people, just judging by the response I've seen on Twitter, most people dislike it.
Yeah. And I know the argument is going to be, well, again, these guys are, mid-card at best. Who cares what we do with them? I don't know.
There's a lot of strawman arguments out there. There's people, I'm not in the camp of, New Japan is trash now because they did this. But I'm also not in the camp of, at least they tried something, it's better than nothing. I think there is a middle ground
something.
there.
I don't have a problem with
they
people
could have tried something good. We've been coming up with ideas that would have been better than this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's.
Where's my fucking junior tag team tournament?
Right. I mean, that would have
been perfect, wouldn't it? You could easily get I don't know 8 junior tag teams, squaring off, and the 2 finalists. That's your second match at Jingu for the vacant junior tag team titles.
Yes. Could we be a little bit tournament out though at this point? I mean, what would that be? The 4th tournament that we've seen in a handful of months between the cups, the never 6-man. I mean, we got to do something with those titles eventually, right? I mean, we can't just ignore it. But yes, I would have. Look, again, I hear the cries of they're lower mid card guys. It's just something to do. I get it, but I don't think any of these matches make. And here's the thing, Sonata. Would you consider Sonata a lower mid card guy at this point?
I don't know about the lower mid card aspect of it. He's definitely a mid carder.
Show.
I feel more excitement about Sho and his future prospects than I do for Sonata.
Mm-hmm. And they're doing this submission match. Sonata, of all people, by the way, who we all love every one of his submissions. He does those so well. Can't wait to see Sho struggling to squirt his head out of the loose. Why am I making myself depressed over this? It's just have a match.
Let me transition this question from Nicholas. How do you feel about the quality of New Japan right now? This whole COVID era has been frustratingly low quality. From a lame fake title to a cup where we still don't know who the winner is facing. It's an excuse to say, well, this is COVID stuff, really messed up plans. There's so many amazing wrestlers and talent still in Japan that there's no excuse for such average matches and low quality storytelling. This whole time feels like they put zero effort into keeping the same level of quality and that we have come to know.
See, now I'm going to give you the counter argument. We've got empty arenas. We've got booking somewhat on the fly, and yet we still have a glorious world tag team situation that we haven't had in years. We've got Shingo in the Never title, which is, where he's been and the defenses that he's had, and even performances in New Japan Cup from other people. We've had some good stuff. Let's not. Yes, if you're not a fan of the evil title win, you're looking at it from a bit of a different perspective. I get that, because that is a big thing to have happened that kind of shook a lot of New Japan fandom. I'll give you that. This, as much as I'm complaining about it, and I don't think it's doing anyone any favors, it is just guys that are, by and large, not really doing much of anything. Sho and Sonata aside. Who's in the strap match again? Help me out. See, I don't even know. Who's in the strap match again?
Okada Yujiro.
Okay. I mean, that's not lower mid-card guy, right? There's one guy kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, right?
Yeah, I mean, do you think that this whole KOPW thing is just something for Okada to do to keep him out of the title picture, basically?
Yeah. That's what this is.
You could do better than that. I mean, just give him a meaningful non-title feud with someone. There's plenty of guys you could pick who don't have a title, who are not doing anything, that you could just have a special singles match.
All right, let's be objective. What we've seen in 2020, we got an Okada-Takahashi feud that no one gives a fuck about, right? No one. Right now we're building toward Shingo Suzuki, right? Everyone is pretty excited about that, right? And before that, you had Sho in the mix as well. I think the Never situation's pretty tight, right? So now we're 1 for 1. 1 win, 1 loss. Tag team championships, I think, has been better than it's been in years. There's a win. I know you're in the camp of IWGP Heavyweight Championship being a win. Evil doing it. I could see where people not. I'm gonna call that a push. Hiromu, the elevation of Hiromu. That's been a positive, right? That's 3. That's 3 wins. Give me a negative. Are we counting this KOPW as a negative? We have to. And because here's the thing. It's not just a throwaway. Right? It's not just, but they put a lot of time into this fucking thing to shove this down our throats. Right? That's a loss. So we're 60-40 win so far. Just by doing that alone. Have we had other wins in there as well? I think so. I think the evolution of the US division, it's a win, right? The shows themselves, I think it's a win. Where else are we getting wins, Joe? Or where else are we getting noticeable losses?
Do we say never 6-man tournament? I thought they did a good job there.
I thought they did a good job there. I'll put that as a win. At least for 3 nights, it was a focal point, and it was interesting. Was it G1? No. But for 3 nights, the last night was good. Right? That last match was good. And the Yoshihashi moment, that was, again, what normally would be mid-card kind of thing. Okay, I get it. But they made chicken salad out of chicken shit. Okay, granted. But I'm counting that as a win. What was the other big loss that we've had so far this year?
I think it's just the Evil thing and the KOPW thing that people are looking at those two and disregarding a lot of the other stuff that I think has been really cool since we've come back.
Has it been perfect? No. Has it been ideal? No. Has it been different? Yes. Have they had to think on their feet and work with, I don't know if we're coming back and how are we coming back and who's going to be here and how are we going to get this guy into the country and okay, yes, it's been a challenge, 100%. But I think given the cards that they fucking have dealt and have been dealt, I think they're doing good with what they got. And it's hard for me to sit here and point a finger at a company where half their fucking talent can't get into the country. It's hard for me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's hard for me to be negative on that. Even though we have a tournament where it's like, okay, or this KOPW, whatever you want to call tournament, whatever, where it's a head scratcher, and you have arguably one of the greatest pro wrestlers in our lifetime in a strap match against a guy who arguably is a lower mid carder, and show, it's a time filler. I get it. We got an outdoor stadium that's going to be really fucking great. Think about that. We got an outdoor stadium that arguably would be right up there, Joel, with a show that if things were 100% hunky dory. I think it stacks up to any other big show, and I think it's going to be very good. I think they've made the most of what they had. And I'll give New Japan credit. And that's not just a circle jerk. Because, again, I sat here for 10 minutes talking about how shit this KOPW thing is. But if I'm being honest, given the cards that they've been dealt, they've played them as best that they possibly could.
Lest we forget as well that right around the corner is the Grade 1 climax. So there's no way that's not going to be great, surely.
It's going to be great. Look, I hope and I pray that we have some way of surprise elements in there to make it even greater. The people that are in that are going to want to put on a performance to show that they belong, right? Because I know there's going to be speculation of people of, this is not good, as good as G125, or this is not as good as G126, or we're going to get that. But the people that are in it are going to have a chip on their shoulder to show why you're not going to lose quality in this. So I think everyone will have their working shoes on, and maybe we'll even have a surprise or two thrown in there as well.
Okay, let's do some questions then from Discord. Jeremy says, if we can't figure out what to do with Kawato now, how about him being the next Tiger Mask? It's better than him being a sub Yoshihashi geek. Mike says, if Yoshihashi is the bag of socks, what is Master Watto? Bag of crew neck t-shirts, replacement shoelaces, decorative hand towel, etc. So, Damon, where do you stand on Master Watto at the moment?
I mean, he's growing on me in the sense of he's not as completely baffling as I thought he was in the beginning, and that just might be, I'm just used to it now.
You're finally understanding all the nuances to this deeply complex and layered character.
Yeah,
it's the way to the Grandmaster. He's not there yet. He's not the Grandmaster yet, guys. Have patience. Wow,
you really digging deep. I mean, he's there. He's there. As quickly as he's been dropped on the scene. And here's the thing, while we're doing that negative list, we're dropping him on that, right? We're dropping his name on that list, right?
Is it negative?
Yeah.
Oh, I like him.
Oh, you might like him.
And it's not an ironic meme liking. I genuinely think he's good.
You think this debut of Master Watto has been a success or a failure on New Japan's part? You can like him all you want.
Look, all I can say is I like it. It's working with me. Mm-hmm. We've had this debate a million times. I like it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm putting it in the shit bag category. You can take your blue hair, get right up the street with it. No, I mean here's the thing. He's there. He's what Taguchi has spent a career doing, right? Building up to being that guy who, okay, tap me on the shoulder once a year, but in the rest, I'm going to do goofy shit in 6-man tags. Watto has already reached that level for me. He is plop him into 6-man tag guy at this point until things drastically change.
Brindle says, I thought a fun game would be to say a colour and each write down which wrestler you immediately think of and continue until you run out of colours. Then compare your list. Okay, I'm not doing this until we run out of colours.
No.
I'll tell you, I'll just throw a colour at you and you tell me the first wrestler who pops into your head. Okay, ready?
All right. Yes.
Blue.
Watto.
Okay, there we go. That's the end of that segment. Dan says, enjoyed the discussion re the Never Championship. Just a thought, assuming travel restrictions are lifted from New Zealand soon, how about running a program between Henare and Shingo? It seems he was due a decent New Japan Cup run back in March, and having him and Shingo feud would be a great way to build him up for his first G1, which I believe they'll need him to enter. Your thoughts?
Wasn't that the case? As you well know, Joel, we dined together in a wonderful meal when I was in Japan. And, it seemed to be a general consensus that he was...
I'm still annoyed about that, by the way.
Yeah.
That I had to go to the fucking suburbs to buy buggy from Akachan Honpo while you guys were enjoying delicious sukiyaki. And I've still never had Japanese sukiyaki. Every time I sit, there's some really nice looking sukiyaki restaurants here. Every time I see it, it's like really expensive. It's like, I don't know,
expensive.
$50 a pop. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then I just think back to missing out on that and I get very upset.
I'm sorry. I wish you were there. We all wished you were there. We missed you on that one because it was a highlight of that fucking trip. And the one thing that I always remember is going because I don't even remember what hotel it was in, but it was a very nice hotel, Joel. And walking through like these big hallways with all these shops, and then you kind of went back into this little spot, and like I was like, "How the fuck do you know where this place is?" And he knew where it was. I'm talking about our good friend Frazier. Who I haven't heard from in a while. I hope he's okay. You haven't heard from him, have you?
I haven't.
Oh, I hope everything's all right. I haven't heard from him. If you're listening, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm actually sitting in the chair that he gave me. The Liger Wrestle Kingdom chair. I'm sitting in it right now that he was actually gave to me. What a great guy. Anyway, that was a great moment. Anyway, Henare, yeah. I mean, this was going to be a good year for him. Let's put it that way. And now look at what happened. So yes, I would have zero issue with Henare getting a nice little. Talk about a guy whose career has had more fucking roadblocks. We talk about Hiromu, where things just get started and then things happen. Fucking Henare, you could put in that same boat. Young Lion gets hurt. Guy's now lapping him while he's recovering. Finally recovers, trying to get through COVID-19. Fucking unbelievable. Henare, we wish you the best, buddy.
Next question is about referees. We have Dan saying, is everyone now freely ready to admit that Marty Osami and Kenta Sato are better referees than Red Shoes? We don't see these half-assed yet over-the-top reactions when they get touched on the shoulder. And Liam says, is Red Shoes the least credible official in wrestling today?
Okay, let's talk about that. Now, listen, we all know Red Shoes is very important behind the scenes, right? We know that. So he ain't going anywhere anytime fucking quick. Let that be known. He has gone from maybe my favorite referee of all time, right next to the great Tommy Young, to a guy who I kind of want him off my screen. Like, and but again, that's not necessarily his fault. It's more of how he is perceived. Like, you go to that well enough, the general consensus is going to be this guy's an incompetent boob. Again, pro wrestling referees we're talking about. I get it. There has to be a level of incompetent boob in there to make pro wrestling work sometimes. But there has to be some credibility there. And there are times where I just feel like, why would it, like, if I'm looking at it from a pure kayfabe perspective, if I'm New Japan Pro, if I'm Harold, why would I put that guy in a ring at certain points, right? Like, I would have to be like, I have the most incompetent boob refereeing my biggest matches at this point. and made of paper mache. Made of paper mache. Yes, it feels like I'm nitpicky, but I'm not the first person to think this. Obviously, with these questions. Yeah, it's become a little bit annoying, and I'll go so far as to say this. To me, I feel like there are lots of occasions where he takes the spotlight away from matches. And he takes, I don't know, it's not that he's intentionally trying to get himself fucking over, but, all right, Red Shoes, just fucking count the falls. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
It does border on that at points. Like when he was flipping off, I think, was it Fale or Tamatonga during that G1?
Yeah, the first time he did it was fucking hilariously great, right? Everybody loved it.
He kept doing it,
right?
Didn't
he? Yeah. Pops the crowd. You don't have to do it 100 times. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's not one of my favorites anymore. I would. There are many times where I would rather see other referees in that ring, because I've gotten to the point where when I do see him, you know it's going to be bullshit. Right? I've gotten to the point where I see him in a ring, and I'm like, how many bumps has he taken this fucking match? That's where it's gotten. Like they've done so much to his credibility, where arguably the best pro wrestling referee in the business has now been whittled away to a guy with zero credibility. And when you see him, you're like, all right, well, again, we know there's going to be several ref bumps in this match. That's not good. That is not good.
Austin says, Gedo keeps saying he's still breathing with the switchblade when he's announced during his entrance. Is this a teaser of Jay returning, or just Gedo reminding people of Jay while he's away?
I think both. I said it, and we've said it. I mean, I think this leads to a little faction feud, a little inter-faction feud. Done right, finally, by the way, may I add. But that's where I kind of see this going. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think so. They're just sort of laying the groundwork. They're paving the way for that big feud coming up, which I'm excited about. I think it could be someone has got to be the de facto babyface in that feud. And it could be Jay White.
Well, I'm just saying.
Who knows?
Just saying. All right.
Yoni Steam says, did you see the WAP video?
I'm sorry, the what?
WAP.
WAP video.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the WAP video, Joel. Is it something pornographic in nature, I hope?
Yeah, it's a very raunchy music video. Let me look it up exactly. So hold on a second. WAP video.
Yeah.
So I can get the name of the artist correctly. Cardi B.
I know the name Cardi B. I don't know if I'm familiar with much of her work, but let's do this. Cardi, if I'm not mistaken.
You're gonna watch it now. Okay, this is gonna be spicy.
What is it? WAP.
Yeah.
Okay, Cardi B.
WAP. It's an acronym.
Right here. So it's an acronym. All right. I'm not gonna. Will I get context clues? There's some whores in this house. Is that what he's saying? Okay. 7 days a week. What?
Did you get the clue?
Wet ass.
There was a very subtle
pussy.
clue for what WAP stands for there.
Wet ass pussy. I'm shocked. I'm actually not shocked. Man, she's not subtle at all, is she?
Who says romance is dead, Damon?
What?
Who says romance is dead?
I mean, she's very forward in her requests for her wet ass pussy. All right, look, it's certainly not the Rolling Stones, that's for sure. But it's just all right. this like Kiss in the sense of we're just going to do shit to shock people? Like, is that what this gimmick is, or are people like really like this is Radiohead? Like, where are people falling on the wet ass pussy, Joel?
I don't know, David. I apologise. I haven't been on top of the wet ass pussy discourse on the internet as of late.
I mean, we know this is played at every strip club across fucking the southern United States. We know that, right? This is definitely being played. Here's what I do appreciate, though, in a very weird sense. There is something, maybe liberating is the word I'm looking for, that you have a female artist that has, dare I say, the guts to have a song like this. Because, I mean, it wouldn't be shocking to have like a guy rapper singing about all the fuck, his big dick and everything, right? Fucking everybody in sight. Or, even like 80s metal where every fucking innuendo is you're fucking some barely legal 17-year-old girl.
Right, so you're saying these are like modern day suffragettes, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not that far, but you get my point, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, it's a sign of the times. And I think
so. We're talking, Emmeline Pankhurst, Rosa Parks.
Yep, Cardi B.
Harriet Tubman and Cardi B.
Yeah. Yep. Freedom fighters.
I tell you, the biggest tragedy here, David, is that we don't have that Roman sponsorship anymore, because what a great segue that would have been.
Right. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. Look, it's not my cup of tea. I don't know if I'm going to be popping this on my Spotify playlist. I don't think I'm going to go rush out and buy the vinyl of Wet Ass Pussy to have a Sunday morning listening to tunes. But to be honest, to each their own. This is what makes the world go round. But I will give her full props. Here's the thing. I truly believe. I think music should be a little bit dangerous. Like, music should do that. Music should kind of shake you a little bit. I like that. And a lot of the music that I listen to does that, at least in my genre, right? In the music that I like bands that kind of might push that envelope a little bit, right? I don't know. I want to go so far as to say, like, I want you to be shocking just for shocking's sake, but I do like the idea of making it a little bit uncomfortable. So again, not my cup of tea, not necessarily what I would normally listen to, but I like the idea of pushing that envelope. So good on Cardi B with her wet ass. She should see a doctor if it's that bad. She should really see a doctor and get a mop.
Bad Chemical says, Joel, how do you feel about Big Tone's football adventures? And also, Damon, do you think NFL owners who own football clubs abroad and in the US can actually expand the game here in the US? Atlanta do very impressive numbers, especially for the Deep South, where you think football would be the antithesis of the football they'd like to see.
Mm-hmm. I think, what we would call soccer here. It's pockets of fandom, right? I don't know. I'll give you a perfect example. Like Atlanta, or even Miami, or even Seattle, or I think that they have a very passionate following, but it has trouble breaking through mainstream, if that makes any sense. There are people that wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and they'll go to selectively opened pubs in our area and watch games, and they're passionate, but like, it's not really front and center here. So, the problem, and here's really the problem, is that it's not, and I put in air quotes, an American sport. That's why it'll never, I can't say never because what a world we live in, But that's really the problem. Hockey has the same thing. Hockey will never be as popular as football or basketball or baseball because it's not an American sport. It's a Canadian sport. And we just have this weird thing where if we didn't make it, we ain't fucking watching it. So there you go.
As for Big Tone's football adventures, I assume he means Tony Adams. I can't speak to his managerial career, but he was always one of my favourites when I was growing up. He was Mr. Arsenal, England captain, Arsenal captain. His off the field shenanigans, definitely. He is really interesting autobiography actually. Addicted, and talking about the time he got drunk and crashed his car. Him and the other Arsenal lads, they had a group called the Tuesday Club, and they just go out on the piss every Tuesday, drink like 20 pints, and then turn up for training the next day. It was a different time back then, Damon, but definitely an iconic figure in Arsenal history. Liam says, what god did we piss off to suffer through multiple prominent Jado matches in 2020?
That would be Cardi B. That's who we pissed off.
Jacob says, a question about the Naito title conversation. I think Kawada is a good comparison for Naito's situation in the 90s. In All Japan, he got 3 title reigns with his combined defences being 1 title defence that was a draw or something. He never got defences until after the Noah split, but that doesn't seem to be held against him. And I think Naito is going to be in the same situation. He eventually got a big reign, but by that point, All Japan wasn't anything really. Maybe I'm wrong, but the situations do seem similar. So to be more concise, since I rambled a bit, Kawada is just looking at the 90s. Is Kawada just looking at the 90s a good Naito comparison?
I think so. I think that's a very good job. Yeah, Dusty Kawada. Yeah. That is a pretty good one. And again, looking the popularity, importance to the company. I think both are pretty good comparisons to Naito. Absolutely.
Atari Legend says, does it mean anything that New Japan is probably going to end up as the biggest promotion for drawing crowds in 2020 at this rate with not much time left?
Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't I see something about WWE and Amway, and are they letting people into these fucking buildings? I don't know if they're empty or not. I thought I heard that they were letting people in. Am I wrong in that, Joel?
You're asking the wrong person, I'm afraid. Smash my own fingers with a hammer than to delve into the murky world of World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah, I agree. Could be. They might be by default, they might be the ones that will be leading the pack when it comes to attendance. I don't know if that is I don't think it's anything you can hang your hat on, but man, I tell you what, if you don't have backing by some moneybags company, it's tough sledding for you if you're running a pro wrestling company, that's for sure. I know that I also thought I saw some shit like, some U.S. indies running socially distant shows in a fucking field. I don't know how the fuck you do that. I mean, God bless you if you could pull it off and people are going, but I mean, that just doesn't seem like I mean, you're watching a fucking ring 50 yards away. People are trying. People are trying to make it work, and I appreciate the effort. But boy, it's been tough. If you don't have TV and you don't have deep pockets where losses are expected, it's going to be tough sledding.
Dan has a question for Hockey Damon. I know we joke about the Leafs, but it did look like this play-in series was a very winnable one, but the Leafs just seemed to lack a bit of grit and backbone in their performance. Seems like they could have done with a guy like Kadri in that spot. Would you rather have lost to Matthews, Marner, Nylander, etc., in order to keep guys like Kadri around, who by all merits is doing great in Colorado?
He's doing great right now. He scored like 2 goals last night. Nazem Kadri is one of my favorites, but unfortunately in those big games, Joel, he would lose his head a little bit in those big series, and then he would get suspended. He would get like a dirty hit or do something dumb and be a little bit overzealous and then be suspended for the rest of the fucking series, shift the momentum, and they didn't really have anybody to replace him, and then we're fucked. So they did the trade mostly to move money off the books to be able to sign those big four. Yeah, look, I think you need a certain element of grit in the playoffs. I absolutely do, and we have none. We really don't have any. You're going to score the majority of your goals being a little bit dirty, going into dirty spots in front of the net. You're going to have to pay a price. Tavares is that guy to a certain degree, but even that is not, I think it's more finesse dirty than dirty, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I just see a lot of the teams that moved on in the playoffs and they don't have the payrolls, And I'm sorry. I think the playoffs are a place where defense wins. I think a defense can shut down a great offense, and I don't think an offense can if you're a great offense and you're playing a great defense, 9 times out of 10 it feels like the great defense will find a way to shut you down. And the opposite to me doesn't happen too often. You run into a hot goalie, I don't give a again, you can hold on to the puck all you want. But if you're on the outside and you're taking these shots, these low percentage shots, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? You need somebody in front of the net. Thank you.
Great TED talk, Damon. Dip into the huge list of Twitter questions then. You just let me know, Damon. Marky says, now that Taichi has had another great match, can we shift the cartwheel of Death Wager onto Evil's tile defenses?
That's the question, right? Here's the thing. You have to expect. First of all, and I know we'll get into previews probably next week. I don't think we're going to see many Evil defenses. Do you?
I think we're going to see one more Evil title defense, Damon.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, for all those people who lost their fucking shit when this went down, I don't think he's walking out of that stadium with the title. I'll tell you what. Could you imagine if Naito fucking looks at the lights for a 3 count at this stadium show?
Yes, I could. But again, we'll save that for next week.
Oh, I think people will lose their fucking minds. But okay, yep. All right, we'll hold off on that. But I don't think. I think we're not going to see many defenses. So, no need to move the cartwheel death match there. And again, with my extra added 31 pounds, I don't know if I'm doing any fucking cartwheels, let alone for a death match.
Lachlan says, question for music, Damon, is the DMA's cover of Better Be Home Soon the best track they've ever put out, or do you have another favourite?
No, isn't it? It's wonderful. It's wonderful. They did it, again, virtually, Joel, so, guys are in different places, and Better Be Home Soon is one of my favorite Crowded House songs. You know the Crowded House, Joel? Are you familiar with Crowded House?
It rings a bell. You'd have to sing one of the songs to me.
Probably the most famous. Hey now, don't dream it's over. Hey now, in a world.
No.
Oh my goodness gracious. They're great. They're credited as Australian bands, but they're actually from New Zealand. Neil Finn, fucking great songwriter. Honestly, and that DMA's cover is fucking tremendous. And here's the part. Those high notes that I don't know, I forget the guy's name from DMA's the singer. He hits, and I remember watching it, waiting for it. I'm like, all right, come on, hit that, and he hit it magically, and I'm just like, fuck yes, crushed it. It's great. I love it. I wish there was a way I could fucking grab it. They haven't really released it like it's on YouTube. But it's not like on Spotify, and I can't like buy a version of it because I would do it in a fucking heartbeat. That's the problem. I can't get DMA albums here. Like I have to get my Australian friends to find a way. Oh, wait a minute. I got Cheryl. We got a bit for you. Come here. I need you to. I'm going to let Cheryl listen in on our little Cardi B. All right. So this is Cardi B. Maybe you've heard. Joel's on the other line. Say hello to Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Hey, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Well, this is Cardi B, and the name of the song is WAP. Do you have any idea what WAP stands for?
No, I've heard the song briefly.
All right, well, I'm gonna back it up a little bit and give us your hot take. Here we go. Please get on mic. We don't want to miss a word of this. Please. Head shaking. All right. We are on the radio, so you do have to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Are they saying there's hose in this house?
Hose in the house. That's that we're opening up with.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
What you gotta do.
Right. Got to live somewhere. All right.
It's for the family, huh?
Yeah, it's a family song,
Family
right?
song.
right.
Oh. Oh, well. Wait, is this Cardi B?
This is Cardi B.
Oh, I thought it was Nicki Minaj.
No.
I'm good. I gotta go to work.
All right. Enjoy your day, love.
Thank you.
All right. That's that. There it is. That was a hot take for you, Joel. That was riveting radio.
Yeah, we got a star rating.
She left the room. Ran out the room. She like a cartoon cutout through the wall. She just ran through the door.
All right, Bash says, question for Joel. Will you share the joys of the British version of Robot Wars to Damon and tell him to give an episode a watch? Question for music, Damon. I know his love of early British music. What are the bands in the 2000s era that he likes and enjoys to the present day?
I'm eating my vitamin. Answer your question first.
Yeah, I recently went on a sort of nostalgic Robot Wars binge-watching session and watched like all 10 seasons of it. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, to me, this era that we're living in is very ripe for nostalgia TV. So I had a great time. I thought it was tremendous. And I hadn't seen the new season before, seasons 8, 9 and 10. I thought they were great. So it's just very interesting to see how the game or the hobby of Robot Wars developed, and the kind of the way you see certain weapons getting more popular and getting perfected, like the flipper or the spinner. And yeah, some of the stuff in the later seasons is really spectacular, but this might just be a very Joel thing, even though I think there are some elements of pro wrestling that bleed through into Robot Wars, like the sort of the pageantry and the showmanship and the building of feuds and all that. But Damon has been subjected to many Robot Wars conversations on the WhatsApp group. I don't think it has compelled him to actually watch any of it, but I'm sure you get the message.
No, when it first came out, I remember watching some of it, and it was fun. You know,
is it called BattleBots in the States? Is that their
I think that's what it is. Yeah. They build these fucking machines to fight, and I mean, it's kind of cool concept. I dig it. I like it. I mean, it's not something that is like stuck with me, but like no, I definitely remember when it first came out. It was like, this is pretty fucking cool. Sorry, I was eating my daily vitamin. Music. What are we talking? 3 bands. I'll give you. Of course, DMA's wonderful. Second would be Sports Team, a band called Sports Team.
So this is
London.
British music from the 2000s era.
That
you like and enjoy to the present day.
Gotcha. Would Libertines fall into that? Love the Libertines. The 2000s. Who else was in that world? After the Stone Roses, was it the Seahorses? I liked that album a lot. I thought that was really good. I wasn't a big fan of Arctic Monkeys. I liked Muse, but then after a while, I kind of got a little annoyed with them. Who else did I like? But then there's certain songs that I like that fall out. Like what's the song that? I can't. If I do it, I'll embarrass myself. But it's like, look sharp, look frog. Fix
up, look sharp.
Yeah, yes, that song, that fucking song. I love that song. That song's great. And the Streets
by Dizzy Rascal, of course.
Dizzy Rascal. That's it. I wanted to say Goldie Looking Chain, and I knew that was not it. Who else was it? Would be 2000 though? Again, if like number one would probably be Libertines. Like I thought, like their first couple albums were so really great. I really dug a lot of that. And I think a lot of other bands kind of cheesed off them a lot. So I'll go with them.
Michael Montana says, is it time to put Ibushi back in the main event scene? And Dan says, is Ibushi ever going to turn heel? So 2 different questions on Ibushi there.
I think he's already in the main event scene, easily plopped in and out, right? Tag titles, elevated for the first time in many a moon. I'm very happy with it. Second heel, Ibushi. He's been a career babyface. I don't know. I mean, to me, he feels like Ricky Steamboat. Where, how do you turn the fucking guy? I don't see it. I think if they would have done it, they would have done it. Oh, well, I mean, it's not like he's 700 years old. But again, people are always shocked at how old he actually is. Like, I'm always kind of flabbergasted with how he aged. Like, he looks like he's 20 something. But correct me if I'm wrong. He's like late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, I think he's 37.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's older than he looks, that's for sure. I don't know. Maybe a nice heel run at the end to kind of take some pressure off might be a nice thing for him. Everybody seems like it's at least one heel run, so yeah. But he's one of those guys, like I said, he's got that steamboat factor where how the fuck do you turn this guy heel? I'll say
moments where he flips the switch and turns into Murder Ibu. They wouldn't work if he was a heel. I think they are all the more dramatic because he's such a, dare I say, himbo, that when he does behave like that, it's very shocking.
Yep. I agree with that. And I think that's what makes him him. So losing that element takes a lot away. But who knows? It might work. But again, it's just one of those things where he's one of those baby faces that I just don't see ever being a heel. Taking seriously as a heel, maybe even worse. So I say less than 50% chance.
Jason says, considering the current Tiger Mask is in his 50s, do you see any of the returning young boys getting the mask?
Well, everybody wants that mask to be carried on, and I get the idea of, well, they've done it for years, right? We've had 4 or 5 versions of the fucking thing. So if we have to, yeah, I mean, they're probably especially now, we haven't seen or heard from him in quite a while. So yeah, I mean, if we're looking at tradition, any one of those young lions would be suitable. Take the ugliest one, put the mask on them. Let the ladies decide. That's what you vote. If you're going to have a fucking... Hey, Charlton, instead of having a fucking vote of, what silly gimmick, do this. Who's the ugliest young lion that we're going to put a fucking mask on? That's what you have a vote for. Why aren't I running this? Whatever. All right. Just be quiet.
Dynamite Scott says, which current New Japan absentee unable to travel is most likely to jump ship over the next couple of months? Bonus question, who has the best peck bounce / booby dance? So yeah, do you see any of the people who are unable to travel jumping ship to... I presume they mean a different company.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody's waiting for Anderson and Gallows to be official, but you're not going to see that in the United States because I don't know if Impact prohibits them from going to these U.S. shows. I think it would. But I think everybody's waiting for that to happen. Peck bounce. You know who's got a nice peck bounce? How about that? Yo. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
That's my pick. We're on the same boat. Let's jerk off together. Come on.
Samuel North says, is Tanahashi a dad now?
No. Well, I mean, no, because you still have a level of... What are they, grandpas? You know?
Yeah.
The level above? I mean, where are we going here? What are we doing? No, not a dad yet.
Yeah, I kind of feel that the heavyweight title challenges are past him at this point, but never say never. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if there's like one final run. And I feel his place at the moment is like special attraction. Well, aside from the tag stuff, special attraction matches like the Jericho match. So, yeah, I don't think he's on the level of your Nagatas, your Kojimas, your Tenzans yet. I think he's still a way away from that.
Yes, I would agree with that. Let me ask you a question. I was thinking about this the other day. 3 guys. I'll give you Carl Anderson, Kushida, Nakamura. If you could have one guy back, who would you pick?
Ooh. Oh, that's really tough.
I should be writing these questions. I should be writing these questions.
Nakamura, I think, because
really,
I would like to see him as a special attraction main event guy.
Yeah, imagine that return to the Dome. That'd be interesting. I mean, he first time in years he'd actually fucking do something, but yeah. Isn't that amazing? Like that you don't hear a peep. Like no one had. When was the last time you've heard? Oh, you got to check out that Nakamura match. Like how long has that been since you've heard that word come out? Those words come out.
It was his NXT debut, that match against Sami Zayn. That some people say was copied beat for beat from the Ibushi Wrestle Kingdom match. But yeah, basically from that point onwards, he stopped having good matches.
That's unbelievable. Remember that WrestleMania Nakamura Styles, and everybody was like, okay, if they could get like half of the performance that they got in that fucking match at the Dome, we'd be in good shape. Oh boy, did that ever shit the bed. That might be my biggest pro wrestling disappointment of all time.
Yeah, that was when I realised I'm done with WWE, because no matter who the names are, they're going to be having a Vince match.
Yeah. That might be up there in the top 5 pro wrestling disappointments of all time. How do you fuck that up? Holy shit. Unbelievable. Woo, that blows my mind. All right, give me one more, and then I'm going to go listen to some more Cardi B.
Martin Alejandro says, who's your pick for winning the G1?
Okada. Right? Okada.
My head says Okada, my heart says Hiromu.
That'd be something. I think Okada's got to get out of this fucking. He's struggled this year. He's like, of any wrestler that I could point a finger to of having like a tough time with 2020, Okada's probably my number 1 pick. He's just what a year this guy's had, and I don't mean that in a good way. So he needs a little jump start. G1's just it.
All right, well, that does it for today. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast if you want to show your appreciation financially, would be appreciated. Discord link is in the show notes and pinned to the Twitter. prowrestlingtees.com/super-j-cast if you want to get one of our great shirts. Thanks, as always, to Editor Dan, who you can find on Twitter at LousyHero219. You can also subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling podcast network for other great shows. And as I said earlier, 5-snake review on iTunes, always appreciated. Follow us on Twitter at the Super J Cast. Thank you everyone for listening, and goodbye.